Hello, Dawn Moore at Allegiance Title Company. I hope you enjoyed last week's video bloopers. I guess that's what happens when you go on vacation. No, seriously, I am back today though, and I do want to provide a real tip for your use in your practice. I have been asked to present something on this video about escalation clauses. An escalation clause in a contract is a clause that reads something like, buyer shall pay seller $5,000 more than the next highest offer. This clause is used to become successful in a multiple offer situation. Such clauses can create binding contracts. But I must first warn you that there are all sorts of inherent problems with this type of clause in the contract. And I must caution you that the Texas Association of Realtors firmly believes that insertion of such a clause by a licensee in our promulgated forms of our contracts exposes the licensee to a claim that they're practicing law without a license. I must agree with that position. Irrespective of that, in this day of multiple offers, we are seeing escalation clauses. Here are the issues with escalation clauses in our promulgated form. The first issue, how does a buyer know that the escalation fee which they are paying against the next highest offer is against an offer that is a bona fide offer, meaning an arm's length offer, and not a bogus offer simply solicited by the seller to achieve the highest price for his property? Is it sufficient to insert buyer will pay seller $5,000 more than the next highest bona fide offer? I don't know that that would protect the buyer or that they could be assured that it is a bona fide offer. The second question that we have is, how do you protect a buyer from paying more than they are willing to pay for that property when you have such an escalation clause in the contract? Agents often answer that question by saying, well, we'll simply put a cap on the escalation offer, meaning they'll write in, buyer shall pay seller $5,000 more than the next highest offer, not to exceed blank. My response to that is if I was a seller, I'd simply counter that contract at that highest price. Why go through the steps of generating the next highest offer? The third question I get is it ethical to reveal the terms of other offers? Isn't that confidential information? My answer to that question is yes, it is confidential information, but it is confidential information owned by the seller. A seller can consent to his agents revealing that confidential information. But here's the catch. Under your license agreement, consent to reveal confidential information must be made in writing. Clearly, a seller is anxious to get the highest price for his property, so when he receives an escalation offer, he's going to give you consent to reveal the next highest offer terms. Be sure you get that consent in writing. The fourth issue with escalation clauses is to remind you that it's a fiduciary duty of the listing agent to procure the best deal for the seller. Clearly, when the listing agent has an escalation clause in a contract or an offer to the seller, the listing agent is going to go back to all the offerees and ask them to solicit their highest offer. At some point, though, the listing agent is going to quit soliciting highest offers and encourage the seller to accept the escalation clause contract. What if that next highest offer that was solicited by the listing agent before they stopped would have gone higher? Is that an issue for the seller? And finally, this is the ultimate question that I get when we work through all of those issues. Okay, if there are escalation clauses out there, what if two buyers submit offers to the seller using an escalation clause? Well, clearly, there's no choice but to go back to those two offerees and ask them to submit their offers in specific dollar amounts. Otherwise, you're simply chasing a bouncing ball. Clearly, there are issues with escalation clauses in our contracts. If your client insists on using one, though, please encourage them to seek legal advice. Allegiance Title hopes that this is of service to you, and we ask that you call us with any questions or if you need any clarification. We're here to help you. We want to be your resource for results. Thank you.